Welcome back in, friends. A brand new season of Dirty Air on Racing America. Glad you're with us on this Thursday. Clean air is good. Times like this, which is, as always, Thursdays, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. Clean air is pretty good, but times like this, dirty air just a tad bit better. Good evening. My name is Rodney Rodriguez. Glad you're with us as we kick off a brand new season, as I said, on Racing America. Very excited about things that we have going on this year with the program. On the show today, coming up in about 8 minutes, going to talk to Shane Rivas, and that's part of what I want to talk about a little bit here before we bring Shane on. Something that I'm looking to do this year as a part of the show. Obviously, very much short track driven is what we're doing. Of course, if you're checking in on Racing America, that's where you get your great short track racing coverage. But what I'm going to be doing with Shane this evening, Shane very involved there in the Mississippi area. He's done tech. Definitely want to talk about tech inspecting with him a little bit, Capital City Sprints, and then we'll talk about some of the racetracks there. But with the show this year, what I'm really wanting to focus in on is I want to have a segment called the 2024 Local Track Spotlight, and it's going to be very simple for you guys to be a part of this. I'm always kind of scouting around, looking for different folks to talk to, looking for different racetracks to really hone into here on the program. But I want you guys to be able to email me those if you have some, or if you have one in particular where you'd like me to showcase that here on the show and get somebody on. DirtyAirRacingShow@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter or X, whatever it's called, at the Rodney R. So a couple of different ways that you can do that right there, but it's going to be all about at least one segment in the show where we're going to talk about a track or a series specifically and get nuts and bolts and details, all of that. So that email address is right there. Please, please, please send those to me from anywhere around the country, into Canada and Mexico. It doesn't really matter where it is. And then coming up towards the bottom of the hour, super excited as for the first time on Dirty Air, going to have my good friend JD Boucher. She will jump on and we'll talk a little shop right there, just kind of go back and forth and just talk racing. Just talk racing. I love talking racing with racing folks, racing family folks, and JD is certainly going to be a great conversation. As we dive into February, lots of things that are going on right now. You've got, I've been watching Lucas Oil dirt late models here for about the last week with a lot of action going on around the country as Florida really just firing off right now. You know, you've got a lot of mainstream folks that are all fired up and excited that you've got the Daytona or whatever coming up. But, short track racing is off and going. And really cool last night, I woke up this morning and I saw that our man Kenny Wallace wins at Volusia, picks up his fifth Gator there. But he hadn't won one since 2012, and just a really good run right there. And he outruns a couple of the best. Couple of best in the business for Kenny Wallace as the Herminator wins him another one. Also, another event that's going to be coming up on Racing America, March 28th over at Orange County. You're going to have the Rogers Heating and Cooling Orange Crush 200, and that entry list continues to grow. But one of the names, the big name that's on there right now, that's getting a lot of attention and super excited, is Ward Burton is going to get back behind the wheel. And as I was looking today, kind of researching some stuff, getting ready for the show, I saw that Ward was actually out on the racetrack today, as a matter of fact. So Ward getting his first, I guess you want to call it, getting his feet back wet again as he was out on the racetrack there. And let's take a listen. Actually, this is from Ward Burton's Twitter page as he talked about his day back out at the racetrack in Orange County.
At the Orange County first day testing. Appreciate everything that HC and all the guys with fellow brothers are doing. Jeb and HC own this car together. We've got a good direction of what the car needs. Fighting are really tight, doesn't want to follow the input of the wheel. I've gotten a little bit better as the day goes. Got a lot of improvement to get better yet.
As he gets set to go, that is coming up. Of course, you'll see it on Racing America March 28th, $15,000 to win right there. And in that month of March, that is going to be a month of March that is highlighted by a lot of events. Of course, I'll be at the Rattler 250. Man, I can't wait for that one. Of course, you'll have the Baby Rattler 125, which is presented by Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet. And our show, Dirty Air, as always, presented by Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance. They're out of Brandon, Mississippi. presenting sponsors of the program, along with On Demand Shirts, which is out of the San Antonio area. That's a good place to get yourself some gear as you start getting ready for the season. And they make it real affordable. They make it real affordable for you to get that racing gear with a budget in mind. I mean, they're definitely going to help you do that to where it's not necessarily going to break the bank, and you ain't got to buy about 5,000 of them to get yourself the gear that you're going to be looking for. So that is On Demand Shirts. We will talk to them throughout the season as we get rolling in here. Speaking of On Demand Shirts, how about we hear from them, one of our presenting sponsors? It is On Demand Shirts. There it is, On Demand Shirts out of San Antonio, one of our sponsors right here on Dirty Air. Let's go to the hotline. We're actually going to the phone line for the first time here as we kick off our brand new season, heading over to Mississippi. Like I said, this is going to be our first installment here on local territories and so forth. Diving in, good buddy of mine, and this is going to be a fun conversation, talking a bunch of things out in the Mississippi area. Let's welcome in Shane Rivas. How we doing, man?
If you are satisfied with your message, press 1 to listen to your message.
Him there for a second. I know we had him hooked up on the line. We'll try him one more time, be able to get Shane back in here. I'll tell you the beauty of technology right here. Let's try Shane one more time as we will get him on the program here. Shane's set to go live with us here from Mississippi. And he's got the Capital City Sprints. That's a great series out there that he has kind of developed right there. Long time for him as a tech inspector over in that area at Jackson Motor Speedway. Actually, I saw him at Jackson Motor Speedway as I was there last year. So a little connectivity issues here with Shane as we work to get him on. So we'll continue to try to make that happen with him. And I think as we do that, we can get our spots out of the way. How about a word from Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet? All right, back live. It is Dirty Air as we get set to go. Working here on Shane Rivas. I think we may have him right about now, getting set to try to make that call right here. And we'll get set to talk some Mississippi action right here. Oh, missed him again. All right. Well, I guess we're going to keep on going. But with those events that I'm talking about, you've got the World Series, which is coming up at New Smyrna Speedway. That's going to be firing off. The Alabama 200 as well. That is going to be a big one that you'll see right here on Racing America. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you are a subscriber to get all of that. So you can definitely hook yourself up with that and be set to go for that one as well. That is the Alabama 200 that is coming up here. That is going to be on the 2nd of March. On the 2nd of March is when we will have that one for you right here on Racing America. Going to step away one more time as we try to connect with our man Shane Rivas. to go. You know that stuff happens on opening night, but we are ready. To the hotline we go. It is our man Shane Rivas. Shane, how we doing? What's going on in Mississippi, my man?
You got me? Am I on?
I got you, brother. I got you.
Hey,
I don't know what was going on, but I got
I
you.
was trying to call it. It kept sending me the voicemail.
Yeah, ain't no telling, man. What's happening out your way, dude? What's going on in Mississippi this evening?
Just getting on this show and talking about racing and beautiful weather, and we already got mosquitoes out.
Oh man! Oh, well, I tell
Yeah,
you, that's what tends to happen. So let's dive
it
in.
does.
Let's dive in. I do want to. I want to talk about everything going on in the region out there. I want to talk about the sprint car series, but
Okay.
specifically, I want to hone in with you. The life a tech inspector. You've done that. That's a
Yes, sir.
job. I always talk about that, and a promoter is the one where people want to complain about that, but you don't have people lined up wanting that job. Kind of talk about what all's entailed with that mess of having that job.
Yeah, it's well, I've been in racing my entire life. Was born into it, and they were looking for a tech man to try to help down here at Jackson Motor Speedway. So I was like, well, I'll fill in for a little bit to help out and kind of go with the rules they got and just learn them because being in racing, you get, I guess, self-centered. You're used to your one class going through tech, and you're the one guy going through, and then when you're done, you're back to your trailer. But being the tech man, I got 6, 7, 8 other classes and 3 to 5 per class to deal with. So I got there's a ton of characters you got to deal with, and everybody's personalities can be a whole different thing. It brings the best and worst out of people all at the same time.
No doubt about it. And talk about that part, Shane, because it's like it's one thing if it's just a series or one division of car, but if you got 6 or 7
Right.
different ones where you're trying to manipulate all of that and keeping up with rules, I mean, because there's so many drastic differences between all of those.
There is, and it's trying to appease the multitude of them and understand. And I understand their rules more than they usually. I come to find out most of these guys never read the rules in the first place. They just message the track or me and go, "Hey, can I run this?" or "Hey, can I do that?" And I'm like, "Well." After about 40 or 50 times of that, the start of a season, I was like, well, you can refer to the rules. They're on our page.
Yeah.
And if there's any questions above that, please get back with me or I'll see you at the first race.
Yeah.
And I just tried to get guys to read rules. And I've always been a rule reader because I'm trying to find the loopholes and the gray area in the rules so I can not cheat the series or the racing, but try to, you know, keep below the tech man's eyeballs, and keep it more technical because, tech man jobs, it's a hard job to do. And I don't, it's just, it's a hard thing to deal with. And then it comes into, there's a lot of people, I didn't realize that there's a lot of pressure. So I'm the one guy and I got all 20, 30, 40 people staring at me with their phones on. What's going on, who's going to be DQ'd tonight. And it kind of, I tried to have fun with it. One night I came out and the guys in the one of the classes was complaining about different stuff, so I came out and I put a Rico mullet hat that I got at the Chili Bowl years ago.
Yeah.
And I put it on and I was like, hey, I came out like comedical or comical and try to, integrate, with the people and the racers and the crews and drivers and they kind of just looked at me like, who's this guy, and I had the mullet and I'm like, hey, you want to mess around? Well, you're going to mess with me tonight, and just trying to make it comical, but it just, I don't know. Sometimes it's a hard thing to deal with. Let me tell you.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So Shane, let's talk about that. You mentioned Jackson out there. You did some time there. Talk about the different racetracks out your way, man. I know there's some swift little joints out there. I know when I went to Jackson, man, I enjoyed watching the late models and factory stocks and everything there. But talk about some of the different racetracks out in your region.
Right. Well, I mean, like closest one is Jackson Motor Speedway, and it's a lot of guys complain about it because it's technical. It's a long straightaway, pinched off turns, and each turn has its own banking. So it's like I consider it like a small Martinsville, but dirt. So you get a lot of speed down the straightaway, and you got to try to scrub it off. Or a lot of late model guys will run the wall, throw sparks, put on a great show. You go east to Meridian, Mississippi, and you got Wynot Motorsports Park, and it's a tight little like red clayish. They call it the House of Hook.
Nice.
Like a bull ring. So you're pretty much just wide open all the way around if you got a pretty decent setup on your car. It's great facilities and it's a fun track to run. They have great car counts and food and as to be expected.
Yep.
They have the Street Stock Nationals there. It's a huge week of racing and partying for factory stocks and street stocks. Then you can go northwest up to Greenville, Mississippi, which is a beautiful little bull ring with concrete walls. And you've had Ryan Colby on the show before.
Yeah. Yep.
He's won many races up there, and that's his old stomping grounds. And he just has a great fan base there, and the fans are great. And they get in with the racing, and it's like watching small NASCAR. They're pulling for a dude, and that's their guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't like your guy, then it's my guy's going to beat your guy kind of thing. It's good old farm town racing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can move north up to Magnolia, the Mag they call it, in Columbus, Mississippi, and that's a lot bigger track, wider, smoother. It's I think it's a 3/8 mile track, not for sure, but a great facility and pits. The stands, the racing's incredible there. It tends to slick up, and a lot of guys like the slick. And I'm more of a hammer down. I want to use all that horsepower I got, kind of thing.
Yeah, yep, no doubt about that. Yeah.
We had a couple other tracks. They closed down. There's a Pike County south of us. They're going to do, I think, 3 races I've seen so far this year. The track's been rented, and they'll do some crate racing USA, street stock shows and factory stocks, and whatever classes else they have to fill in with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Outlaw Speedway, but that's currently up for sale. So we have a selection of tracks in Mississippi, different types of shapes and banking and straightaways and stuff. So it's gives you a good spectrum of oval track racing.
Mm-hmm. Shane, talk about the Capital City Sprint Car Series. Really like that concept right there, man. I know there's a lot of different variations of sprint car racing. Kind of dive in, specifics and so forth of what you got going on there.
Okay. So what we got is it's a non-wing, which is, for a lot of people don't know, there's your World of Outlaw cars, high limit, all the big news in sprint car racing is everybody sees a car with a wing. I have nothing against that. It's just there's a lot of wing series, and to try to compete with them, you're competing with ASCS and a local Haas Hurricane Area Super Sprints too. So to go back to my midget roots and stuff, without a wing would be non-wing sprint car, and it's a pretty economical base class. If you can say economical and racing, they kind of don't go together. But we've worked in with Rogers Dab Chevrolet, which is a sponsor in our series this year, to allow the CT 525, which is an LS based aluminum engine that can go with late models and asphalt and dirt, and I believe Knoxville, Iowa has a class there just specifically for those engines. Our series we can run a 305 Race Saver, or a Memphis 305 they call them, that they run up there at the ditch in Riverside. You could build a small block Chevy. There's more technical stuff in the breakdown on the rules, different cylinder heads and different valve size and compression and injection versus carburetor. And then, like in my car and a couple other cars, we have a 5.3 GM LS motor, with mechanical injection, the MSD ignition on it. You can get into one of these, probably top tier. You can pick up a used USAC car or take a winged car and pull the wing off and get a pretty good deal on rollers for $3,000 to $8,000, and
wow.
Get a motor. You can get, if you don't know much about building them, you can take the rules to your local engine builder and get with him and see what he can do to work out with prices. Or you can get a crate engine, 602, 604, or the CT 525 to put in it. Or you could build an LS engine, and I'm wanting it to move. I like to move it into LSs in the future, because it's I get a lot of grief from the old guys because they're all small block Chevys, and
exactly.
And LSs are the modern, but they're still 25 years old when they came out. But still, this young generation knows the LS engine. They've grown up with it, kind of like you and me grew up with a small block Chevy.
Right.
And just trying to get youth into it, because youth is there's not much youth in racing anymore, and like building their own stuff. And we used to build stuff with our parents and grandparents and friends and neighbors, and just there's too many rules and different series that it's a crate. What the crate is fine, but it takes out different parts of aspects of like STEM, was it science, technical,
right,
engineering and stuff like that. But trying to get youth involved in it, and they recognize the LS motor, because it comes in their car. I got one in my Tahoe, or I got one in my Silverado, and just trying to build and be different, I guess, with the non-wing. It's a whole different type of driving. You're driving off the right rear tire basically, and getting a lot more rotation and into the turns, where winged car, you carry a ton of speed and you're loading up the left rear tire with the downforce of the wing on it. So it's two different types of things that getting guys that switch over from a stock car. They're used to having that whole interior and a big right rear quarter panel. You can bounce off the wall, and in a non-wing sprint car, you have a big tire.
Yeah, that's
so
right. That's right. Yeah,
you learn some driving etiquette and you learn some different driving skills with it that I believe helps down the line in other forms of racing.
Yeah, totally agree. Good stuff right there. Capital City Sprints is the place where you can find it on Facebook for information right there. And good stuff, man. Good stuff out in Mississippi. And I know you guys are getting ready to be blowing and going, and I'm sure you guys are going to kick a lot of ass out there, my man.
Yeah, I hope so. And maybe make it your way one day for a race out there.
Absolutely. Plenty of it down here in Texas, man. Would love to see you down here. Shane, thanks for taking the time, man. Sorry about the couple of glitches right there, but we got
that's fine.
Stuff
we got it going.
Yeah, that's right. We're good to go. Appreciate your time, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
You bet. There you go. Shane Rivas. Really good stuff right there with the Capital City Sprints. Check that out. Capital City Sprints on Facebook. You guys stick around. Coming up, J.D. Boucher about to get dirty with me right here on Dirty Air. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air is just a tad bit better. You guys stick around. More coming up. Dirty Air back for another season. Hope you're enjoying the program so far as we talk short track racing and just talking racing in general. And just, that's what we do around here. Like I always say, clean air is good. Times like this, Dirty Air just a tad bit better. Welcoming on to Dirty Air for the first time. And I tell you, my bucket list is complete because, as you folks know, at Snowball Derby, I got to work with Jess, who you saw yesterday on the Bull Ring. I've got the other half of Cars Tour Weekly. And I've been waiting for this one for a long time. We were finally able to put it all together. J.D. Boucher joins me for the first time in the Dirty Air. J.D., how you doing, friend?
I'm good, Rodney. It's so good to finally talk to you. How are you?
I can't complain. And if I did, nobody would give a damn. That's kind of the way. That's kind of the way all that works. So for you, what's been going on in the off season? And we'll sit here and do some bench racing and all that. But the off season, we're never really off, are we?
No, you're never really off. I mean, I may not have been off doing things or on a show, but there's just so much to keep up with. There's people changing rides, there's people changing sponsors, people going to different series. So you're never really off. There's so much to keep up with. So I've just kind of been trying to keep track of everything because it's a total conundrum at the beginning of the season because it's like, okay, no, that's not who's in this car, it's who's in this car. So
yeah,
just keeping track of everybody is a job in itself.
Isn't that the thing? I mean, when you start doing the off-season stuff, it's like you better be doing it in pencil because everything changes and it's like trying to keep up with everything. It's like the busiest time of them all.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And then you'll think somebody's in this ride and then it changes. So you just have to kind of, my notebook's already pretty thick. So I know we haven't even started.
I know, no doubt about it. So for you, JD, let's talk about it. So you're one of those folks that you can't avoid. It was impossible for you to avoid anything racing related. I mean, because the family history. Just kind of take us down the family tree right there. Folks see you on Racing America. A lot of folks know you, but fill in the gaps for everybody else as to where you fit in with the Boucher name.
Gosh. So I'm third generation on both sides. My mom's family owned a sprint car team and she drove a dirt late model. And Grandpa Jack, who ran ARCA and USAC and everything else, built those motors. That's how my parents met.
Yeah.
Grandpa Jack's 3-time market champion. Uncle Bobby's a 2-time market champion. Uncle Gary won the Texas World 500. Dad and Gary, the only year that this 24-hour race had the stock car segment, they won the stock car segment, finished 15th overall. Uncle Todd was the most popular driver in ARCA for like 10 years. So I really didn't have a chance. So I wasn't going to be a driver. We all knew that growing up because, I was all fancy with my high heels and my fancy clothes. So I had to find somewhere else where I fit, and I like to talk. So this worked out for me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're exceptional at what you do right there. Yeah. I did want to ask you about that stock car portion of the 24 hours, because I saw a picture that was posted there. I don't know if you posted it or somebody posted it and tagged you, but man, imagine that now. I mean, the way racing is.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Everything's evolved.
It would be super cool if they did that, right? I mean, I can't believe they only did it 1 year. And that deal, Grandpa, my dad, and my Uncle Gary, they were going to go do it. They built the car. It was built in Springfield, Ohio. They're the ones that put it together. And then Ford was like, oh, let's bring David and Larry Pearson in. So they got brought in, but Gary and Dad did the most driving, the most difficult driving, the night driving. There was a motor or transmission change. They did it all. The Pearsons slept. They just didn't get the credit for it. But yeah, it's so cool. And that car is actually in a museum in California. So if you're out there, go check it out.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's some great stuff right there. I did want to ask you about the Cars Tour, because I know obviously you guys with the Cars Tour show that you've been doing. That I think for us that have been around racing for some time, I think some of the intrigue with the Cars Tour to me is that it kind of feels like what we're used to as we were growing up, doesn't it? I mean, kind of the same feel and the promotion and all the effect with it.
Absolutely. I absolutely love the Cars Tour. For me, NASCAR, ARCA, they're their own deal, and I feel like it's kind of, I don't want to say unattainable, but it kind of is at this point. And the Cars Tour is what I feel like ARCA was 10, 15 years ago. And when you get in the garage area, everybody is so awesome. Keely and Jack and Kip, and then all the drive, Chad McCumbee, Bobby McCarty, Minnie Tyrell. Everybody's so awesome. It's really, you get that hometown racing vibe, and it's still really good racing. So I love it. I think it's the next big thing. Obviously it is. And now with the expansion to the West Coast, that's going to bring a lot more too. Because I did see, can't remember who it was exactly, but a driver out of Colorado who's going to run Cars Tours full time this year. Mm-hmm. So now, I mean, it's just, the possibilities are really endless.
Yeah, isn't it cool that it seems like even with the names coming in, I mean with Junior and with Harvick and all of that, I mean that's great, but at the same time, people may look at that and think it's kind of detrimental because it's going to like blow itself up and it's something that we don't want.
Too big.
But I really think that the mindset is to kind of keep it the way it is, and I haven't seen anything that tells me that anything different from what it's going to be at this point.
Yeah, I personally feel like the reason that Dale and Justin Marks and they all bought into it was because they see that, yes, NASCAR is doing X, Y, and Z, but there's still this niche that needs to be, filled with short track racing, and that's what the Cars Tour is. No, I think they're just trying to make it the best they can for everyone, for the fans, for the competitors, for everyone involved, for the sponsors. I mean, they've got some really big sponsors on board now with ZMAX, and that's great, but they're still keeping it short track racing, and that's what I really like, because short track racing is the heart of everything.
It really is. I mean, that's where it's all about. It's all about being homegrown like that. So for you, as we enter 2024, and I'll ask you your plans, everything that you may be involved with here in a little bit, but so your thoughts as we go in, challenges, I mean, whether it be dirt or asphalt. I mean, I know here in Texas we've got a lot of them, and they're probably the same across the country, but out your way, challenges of short track racing, just in the opinion of J.D. Boucher.
Well, I mean, there's been a tire change, with Hoosier. Yeah. So that's something new. I also feel like one of the big challenges, just not here, but all across, is if somebody goes, like they run Langley and they want to go run a New River or wherever, the rule package might not be the same. Mm-hmm. So I think there needs to be something done to make that more cohesive, because the amount of penalties that I saw last year was astronomical, and it was really uncalled for, and it was for really minute, stupid things that really aren't giving you an advantage. Mm-hmm. So I think they really need to do something about that to make it to where you can go run more places. I think it would broaden the whole short track racing horizon. So I think that's the big thing right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it really is to try. I mean, travel, fuel. I mean, I know a lot of folks
Yep,
they want to bitch about the cost of it. It's going to cost money no matter what,
exactly.
and I think a lot of it is, it's like everything that a series does to try to conserve money. We racers are going to find a way to still spend money. So I think that's
Absolutely.
kind of unavoidable.
You know, if you want to make $1 million in racing, you need to start with at least two, if not more at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're going to be upside down really, really quick.
exactly. Yeah, you need to budget real well.
That's right. So what's on tap for you? Obviously, you've got your hands in a lot of different things. It seems like
I
we all
do.
do. But
Yeah,
what all you
so
got
right
for us?
now, anything that's really racing, what's going on with Race America and the shows, for me on my end, it's kind of up in the air, which is fine. You know, I'm happy to be around wherever. Regardless, I'm still gonna, hit up Cars Tour races. ASA is coming to Hickory, definitely gonna go to that. But I'm definitely planning on going out to New River a few times. I'd really like to go for the Smart Mod race as well as the second Cars Tour event. Also, I'm supposed to head over to Wake County and do a little work with Wesley Outland out there. So that would be great for me. It's a new track I've never been to. It's really excited. I've seen some races there. It looks phenomenal. So that's basically what I'm doing this year as of now. But as I learned last year, as the year comes, things just pop up. So that's what I'm probably, so I'm going to go with. Things are just going to pop up here and there, and I'm ready for it.
You should co-host this show because
I'm down.
folks always tell me, they're like, why don't you get somebody there with you to kind of liven this thing up a little bit? I do want to ask your thoughts. I do kind of want to touch on NASCAR a little bit because the divide between NASCAR and short track racing. I love asking short track people this question, and it's 60-40 the answer I get. What do you think about that? Is NASCAR anything that can help us, the Cup Series? No.
Help us? No,
Well,
I don't think so.
no.
It's its own deal, right? They're their own cars. You have to buy all your stuff from NASCAR. You can only, you know what I mean? Everything is so regulated.
Yep.
And where you buy your stuff is so regulated. I think that's just absolutely ridiculous. And their charters. And I went to Martinsville a few years ago, and I hadn't been to a cup race in a while. I just went with my uncle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're going to go look at souvenirs. There was like 5 souvenir trailers. So I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I just really don't pay that much attention to all that deal. But short track racing is its own entity. And if you want to see real racing, you need to not waste your time over there. You need to go to your local short track, go watch your local late models, your street stocks, your bombers, your 4-wheel drives, because those people, they're there because they love it. And there's nothing that I love any more than seeing a race car driver or somebody in the pits, somebody in the stands with passion. And that's where you're going to see the most passion. Those people aren't there for the money. They're not there to get a paycheck. They're there to race. And that's what I like.
Oh, man, well said. And isn't that the thing with this? I mean, like we're talking about it's all family driven. It's friends. I mean, I've got some. I mean, my absolute best friends are people that I met at a racetrack. The cool thing about this, I've never met you in person, but I feel like I know you just from this. I mean, that's what what this sport gives us, isn't it? I mean, it's passion. You said the main thing right there.
It is. I mean, some of the best friends I've ever had, obviously I met at the racetrack. That's where I meet everybody. Heck, that's where I met my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like the racing family, the entire community. Nothing like being with people that have the same passion and the same drive for the things you do. You can pick up and go with any of your friends and have a great time and, work your tail off. And at the end of the day, it's still a great day. Yeah. If you go to work over here, where you're, a little more regulated, you're not going to have as much fun. And I'm to a point where I want to have fun. I'm not just going to be here for a paycheck. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to be there.
I love that. I love that. That's exactly what it's all about. This has been a lot of fun. We got to do this more often. I'm telling you.
Oh, absolutely.
This platform is open for you anytime that you want to jump on here, especially when you start saying those kind of things, because that's dirty air right there. That's the dirty air that we are talking about.
Well, I'm gonna tell it how it is. If they don't like it, that's just too bad.
Tough.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's just real.
No, that's a great thing. Thank you for jumping on with me. This has been a lot of fun, and we will definitely do it quite a bit more often as you're able to.
Yes, let's do it again. Absolutely.
All right. Take care. Be well.
Thank you.
You bet. Great conversation right there. A couple of great conversations we had tonight there. Shane Rivas checking in, talking Mississippi racing, and of course JD Boucher. I got to tell you that we had to record that yesterday just to try to make schedules work out. I wanted to have JD on the debut of 2024 on the Racing America platform because we'd been trying to make that work out. She had an obligation tonight. I said, let's figure out a way to get this thing recorded because I wanted her to be on the debut. And that's what we're talking about right there when I talk about short tracks. And again, I really want you guys, the show this year, what I really want to do, and it matters not the geographical part of the country like I was talking about. I'm here in Texas. I'm going to have some Texans on. There are some really cool things that are happening right here. We had Mississippi represented. I want to go up north. I want to go over west. I want to go east. I want to showcase short tracks on this program because I've had the opportunity to where a lot of folks have really are putting a lot of faith in the show this year. Obviously, you can look at the media landscape of racing right now. There's a lot of things that are changing, but Dirty Air's still rolling right here on Racing America. And I thank those folks at Racing America for having this show back on. And I want to pay that back to short track fans and to short tracks with showcasing your stuff all around the country. Dirty Racing Show at gmail.com. Send me your emails on the tracks that I need to talk to, on those locations that we need to be focusing in on. If there's a racetrack, and here's the best part about it, because this is what I've done in Texas. If there's a racetrack that has something where they need exposure. I mean, maybe it's a tough financial thing or whatever it is. There's been tracks that have come on the Texas show and for whatever reason they've gotten exposure and they've been able to get financial help or if they needed employees or whatever it was, they've been able to get folks because of the exposure. And that's what I want to do across the country right here on Dirty Air this year. And of course, we'll continue to do what we've done on here. We're going to talk to the great personalities in the sport of short track racing all around the country. We'll continue to talk to super late model drivers. We talk to super late model drivers. We talk to bomber drivers. We talk to asphalt drivers. We talk to dirt track drivers. We talk to drag racers. We talk to quarter midget drivers. It is wide open right here what we do on Dirty Air, and we are super excited. I'm super excited for another season right here on Racing America. And again, it will be right here each and every Thursday. We will do it right here at the same time that we have been doing it here for the last couple of years on Racing America. All across the Racing America platforms, we will be doing it once again here, 6 p.m. Central, 7 o'clock Eastern time. A lot of times it's going to be live, and that's the beauty of doing this like we had right there, trying to make that connection there with Shane, that when you go live, that's that raw part, that's that dirty air that we talk about. Again, a huge month coming up in February that is already underway. It looks you got the red eye that's coming up on Tuesday. Cars on the track today at New Smyrna. I saw some practice online to where you've got guys already out there, and man, we are firing off. We are firing off. The dirt trackers have been lighting it up in Florida. Like I said, I mean, you've got sprint car series that are off and rolling. World of Outlaws are going. Lucas Oil Dirt late models are rolling. It is all going right now, and there are a lot of different platforms where you can catch all of this. Like I said, some of the stuff that I'm really looking forward to coming up here. I was talking right there. Obviously, the one that I'm focused in on, and you'll catch it on Racing America, is going to be that the Rattler 250. It'll be my second year back there. My man Ryan McCullough and I on the call right there. Man, we really had a great time last year. We're looking forward to bringing you all of that action. On the 28th, I was talking there about the Orange Crush 200. That's Ward Burton there. That entry list continues to climb up. I saw today Jared Fryer, several others already lined up on that one. Of course, all the way back to the beginning of March, you'll have the Alabama 200 that I talked about. All of that's going to be going on as well. So lots of really cool stuff coming up in the weeks to come all around the country. This has been a blast. We are off and rolling, and man, we are going to do it. We are going to do it, and we're going to have a lot of fun this year right here on Dirty Air. Once again, thank you, Shane Rivas, for being on the program, and thank you, JD Boucher, for getting dirty with me. Finally, we get dirty here on Dirty Air. Remember, friends, clean air is good. Times like this, Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central, 7 o'clock Eastern, each and every Thursday. You want to mark that time, put it in your Palm Pilot. Write it on your calendar if you still write stuff down on your calendar. Oh, don't forget, enjoy the Super Bowl. I mean, we're talking about racing. Who cares? My man Alan Dietz, got to give him some love. I know I saw him with the Chiefs gear on last night as he and Jess were off and rolling. So I guess I'm going to hang my hat on the Chiefs. I guess I'm going to. Maybe I'm a little bit of a Swiftie. Maybe I'll be a little bit of a Swiftie and go with the Chiefs. All right, you guys. Y'all have a great week. We're going to do it again next Thursday right here on Racing America. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air is tad bit better. We'll see you next week.